Well. Back again. Ah, shit. Here we go again. General 81 sent in the request for me to revisit Star Wars The Force Awakens that came out in 2015. This was a paid request. Thank you so much, General 81. Thank you. For anyone interested in requesting movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, topics, tier lists, video game playthroughs for an hour, a full playthrough, whatever the case may be of almost any type of video, PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in info box. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Now there's a lot of things to talk about with this movie. First off, when this film came out in 2015, I had a review up that was negative. Believe me, there were not a lot of negative reviews back then of this film. And people were pissed at me. Now, I wish that review was up. I don't remember what happened to it. I probably deleted for some stupid-ass reason that I would not have done it now. But you live and learn. Sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you fuck up. And I don't even remember the details. But I do remember what I said. I did rewatch the film, to be fair, and everything I thought back then, I still feel now. I remember a lot of people were very defensive on the movie, saying, you need to wait. You need to wait and see. You need to wait to see what happens next. You need to see where this is going. You need to see. You gotta wait for. You know why I'm laughing, because you know what happened. You know what happened with The Last Jedi. You know what happened with Rise of Skywalker and Disney Star Wars. So I just find it hilarious that all the people that kept telling me, you're an idiot, you're a moron, you don't know what you're talking about, you gotta wait and see how the story unfolds. I'm like, it's not going to unfold on anything worth a shit. And guess what? I was right. Granted, there was also a lot of shenanigans involved, but if you like this film, that's fine. If you like Disney Star Wars films, that's fine. You may not like this review, but it's fine if you like those movies. I don't. Now, I like the original Star Wars trilogy. I'm not going to call them my favorite films of all time, but I like them. I don't rewatch them much. I'm looking at the VHS tapes there. I mean, honestly, growing up, I was probably more into the Star Trek films. The first 6, even Part 5. I like. I don't like it more than Star Wars, A New Hope, but I like Star Trek 5. But I like the first 6 Star Trek movies more than the first 3 Star Wars films. I'll put it that way. But I like those 3. Phantom Menace I saw in the theater. I like it for what it is. Nowadays, it has its flaws, but there's stuff I like about it. Attack of the Clones I always thought sucked. Revenge of the Sith, when I first saw it, I didn't mind it. Nowadays, nah. I don't like all the overbearing CGI. I don't really care about the story. I don't care about Anakin becoming fucking Darth Vader. I think Hayden Christensen sucks. And I'm not big. I'll put that over these films, but I'm not big on Revenge of the Sith. I know a lot of people are. I'm not. So years go by. The prequels, whether you think deserved or not, as time went on, the hate grew. The hate grew, and it grew. People forget, when The Phantom Menace came out, there were people who didn't like it. But there were people who did. People forget those prequels were positively reviewed by critics. And yeah, there were people who didn't like it and were disappointed, but there were people who liked it and cheered. I remember Attack of the Clones, when Yoda came out with the lightsaber, started jumping around like a jumping bean frog. There were people like, ah! I'm like, oh, okay. But people did. But one thing that really changed some people's minds was Red Letter Media Now, maybe you never heard of those guys, but they have a YouTube channel. I like a good chunk of their work. I don't always agree with their opinions, but I like a lot of their stuff, and I think they do a good job. You don't always have to agree with the person, but I think they do a good job. Many, many years ago, they created this character, Mr. Plinkett, and they did these in-depth rants on the Star Wars prequels, and I think a lot of people saw it and go, yeah, you know, pick them apart, because you can't pick those films apart, big time. And then this kind of fervor of hate for the prequels, and then also George Lucas wanting to destroy the original version of the OG trilogy and the special editions, and oh, I destroyed the negatives of the original, and what was that, the people versus, I almost said Larry Flint, the people versus George Lucas. There's a whole documentary on it. So a lot of fervor and hatred. And then now you got this new Star Wars coming out. You got a new Star Wars. The guy who did Star Trek 2009, which people said that seemed like more Star Wars than Star Trek, even though it's called Star Trek. So okay, yeah, that's the guy that seems. I mean, I'm not a big Jar Jar Abrams guy. I like Mission Impossible 3. He helped write Regarding Henry. I like that. Harrison Ford learning to talk and think again by Ritz tractors. I like Regarding Henry. He helped write that film. He was one of the writers on Joyride. I like that movie with Steve Zahn and Paul Walker. But director-wise, the only one I liked was Mission Impossible 3. I did not like Star Trek 2009. I did not like Star Trek... What the fuck was... Into Darkness, or as I call it, Into Fartness. I didn't like that. I did not care for Super 8. I thought that movie was overrated, and there's a reason why nobody remembers that film. So I'm not a big J.J. Abrams fan. I don't even know what the fuck he's directed recently, other than Rise of Skywalker. Anyway, people were excited. Wow, finally, a sequel to the 1983 film Return of the Jedi. Film that came out the day I was born, May 25th, 1983. I'm a Return of the Jedi baby. And then the film came out, and it did gangbusters. Of course it would. I mean, if The Phantom Menace was the most hyped movie of all time, The Force Awakens would have been one of the most hyped. To finally see Luke and Leia and Han Solo and Chewbacca and these characters people love, to see them again, people were excited. And it did very well. And I saw it and I went, this film sucks. I know, I'm cynical. I'm very negative when it comes to movies because I want a movie to impress me or hit the right buttons or hit the right spots, which is all subjective, and I have my own subjective taste in movies. That's why it's my taste in movies, not yours or anybody else's. It's my taste. You know, some people don't like the film Hard Eyes that came out. I like that movie. I like the Day the Earth Blew Up, the Looney Tunes film. I like Companion. I liked Novocaine. Not everyone did. I liked them. That's just this year alone. Go back a year or 2 or 3 years, I can find other movies I like. I like Malignant. A lot of people didn't like it. I thought Malignant was underrated. The list could go on and on for hours. But when I saw The Force Awakens, I didn't like it. I didn't like the plot. I didn't like the fact that Luke Skywalker vanished. And I'm sitting there going, he was the kind of the new chosen one by Return of the Jedi. Hence the title, Return of the Jedi. He'd have to have a good fucking explanation to just vanish when people are dying, people are in trouble. Why would he disappear? And the big thrust of the plot is this map to go find Luke Skywalker. Only for the next film to be like, what's that? You know, Missed it? So, wow, that whole look for in the map, and that was all for nothing. He's just an asshole. A grumpy asshole. Just like Mark Hamill is in real life. A grumpy asshole. An asshat. Loving his titty milk from Aliens. He probably fucks it too. In the ass. With no lube. Guarantee he had sex with that thing. Before and after the titty milk in his mouth. Probably not the only milk he had in his mouth. Just saying. Just make the educated guess. Fuck Mark Hamill. For a lot of reasons, but fuck him. He's a piece of shit. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that because that'll be a whole 20-minute thing. So Luke Skywalker just said, fuck this. And left. Doesn't sound like what Luke Skywalker would do. You know, the same guy that went forward to save his friends. Luke and Leia and The Empire Strikes Back. Even though he wasn't trained enough. He's like, I gotta go save my friends. Got his hand cut off, but he saved Leia. Well, I mean, to be fair, Lando Calrissian and them did, to be fair. But he tried to help. You know, but he just ran away like a bitch. Okay. The First Order. Okay, so this is just the Empire. Regurgitated. Come back. 10 times bigger. 10 times stronger. With a Death Star 20 times bigger. That could kill multiple planets, but not just one. Then what the fuck was the point of the wars in Star Wars? When the same bad guys come back 10 times stronger. That'd be like, hey, World War II. And then here comes the Nazis with another Hitler. Maybe named Fitler. Or Dirk Diddler. Or whatever the fuck his name would be. Hit Fitler. With a weapon now 10 times bigger. And here's an atomic bomb 10 times bigger. Doing the neutron dance on the whole population. Call the Bionic Commando. Call someone. I don't know. Call Wolfenstein. What the fuck his name is in Wolfenstein. I forget his damn name. To be honest, I've never played Wolfenstein. I've seen people play it, but it's like Return of Wolfenstein. Like they look like fun games. There's the original Wolfenstein, then there's Return of Wolfenstein. I never got to play any of them. They look like fun games. Anyway, I'd rather talk about that. Can we talk about Wolfenstein, even though I haven't played it? No. But no, we need it's not the Empire, it's the First Order. Oh, it's not the Death Star, it's the, what the fuck star they called it. So it's the same shit! Oh, here's a fucking desert planet. Well, it's not Tatooine, it's Jakku. It still looks like Tatooine. It's still the same fucking desert where some fucking person wants to go out and make something out of themselves, and they find a fucking droid that's got an important fucking message, so I get to the fucking resistance, and get to the fucking rebels, and so they meet someone, then they meet an old fuck, and then they go off in a Millennium Falcon, and then the old fuck dies, and then they go over here, and they give the message, and they gotta do a trench run. They blow up the fucking thing. Seems like the same fucking movie to me. Is that why you waited since 1983 to watch a movie that is at least 3/4 the same fucking film? Because they wanted stuff that was familiar to the audience. One thing I would give the prequels, at least they didn't feel like copies of the original Star Wars. At least they gave you different environments. They give you a different feel, like the Jedi in their prime, in these lightsaber battles. Which honestly, the lightsaber battle in Phantom Menace, I think, is one of the best parts It's one of my favorite parts of Star Wars, honestly, is those lightsaber fights in the Phantom Menace. It really is. A duel of the fates, and that's memorable. Whether you like the film or not, that's definitely a memorable scene. I remember seeing the theater and like, oh shit. I'm like, oh fuck, Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul is badass. And it's got Liam Neeson too. But, you know, that's just me. So we got the Stormtrooper Finn, John Boyega, which could have been good. I would say he's my favorite actor in the movie. As in, I liked his character. I was intrigued by his character. I was interested to see where his character would go. A guy who was a stormtrooper and realized what was going on was wrong. And you see blood on his helmet and he doesn't like this and he decides to do the right thing and rescue this guy named Poe. Not Cameron Poe. That's a better movie. And then get the fuck out of Dodge. And I think John Boyega did a good job. And then, like, he did his best with a lightsaber, even though he wasn't trained in it. And he could run away, but he didn't. But he got injured for it. Wow, he could have potential. Then, oh, he was a sanitation worker. You find out in this one. And then in the next one, he gets out of bed and he's fumbling around like it's Benny Hill. Then he's with some Asian chick and at a casino. Because... And it seems like Rey and Finn could have a thing. You find out Rey don't like black people. She don't like the dark meat. I guess she likes the emo meat. Just she likes the bitch-fed Kylo Ren. So I guess maybe John Boyega was too much of a man. You know what they say about black people. It's too much man, too much meat for Rey to handle. She can't handle the power driver. So gotta go for the limp dick of Kylo Ren. About this bitch. I don't know. Just it seemed like it'd be Rey and Finn. They didn't go with that. Okay. Finn got fucked over. Stormtrooper, point of view, all the intrigue that could come from that, they do nothing with. They put her with some chubby Asian lady in the second one, then he's off with some chick and some flying horses. This ain't fucking Kroll. Kroll is better than this. K-R-U-L-L. Give me the glaive any day over this Disney shit. Give me the glaive. Kylo Ren, shitty wannabe Darth Vader, has a stupid as fuck lightsaber. I always thought his lightsaber was stupid as fuck. Because it's like, not only does it go up, it goes, it's like, tss, tss. And there's like one scene they make it, oh, here's the reason. Because when he's doing this, he could do this, and it gets into someone's shoulder. Granted, I don't know why Kylo Ren can't just do, because he could do that. He could do, bye, John Boyega. Lift you up. Fuck off, boy. I mean, he's a bad guy. Of course, I would think Kylo Ren is racist. Bad guys can't be racist. Are you sure? But for some reason, he doesn't do that. I don't know why he doesn't do that in the fight, but that's later on. But I always thought his sword looked stupid. One wrong move, if he does this, he'll cut his own fucking wrist off. I always thought it was so fucking stupid. Like, you're tearing it, you turn the wrong way, it's going to hit your fucking wrist and hit your... That's just so stupid. It looked so stupid too. Person on sand planet who wants more and gets a droid, which starts the adventure. This could describe the first film or this film. Poe and Finn escape. I will give you this: the special effects at times are pretty good. When Poe and Finn are escaping the TIE Fighter, the way the TIE Fighter looks, and you get some practical explosions mixed in, so it's not just all wall-to-wall CGI. I'll give credit where credit's due. There's some good practical stuff. There's some good special effects. Some of the technical aspects are pretty top-notch. Good chunk of them. So I'll give you that. That means anything. It doesn't to me. But I mean, gotta be fair on it. They escape, they get hit, they land on not Tatooine. Poe, you think is dead, and he doesn't come back till like halfway through the film. I've heard that they were supposed to kill his character off, but then, we'll just put him in here. If that's the case, it makes me wonder then who, if that was the case, if that was the case, who's going to make the trench run at the end of the movie? I don't know. Finn meets Rey, and then there's BB-8 the droid, and they run around, and they say this is all this garbage. They're chased, all this garbage, fine, the garbage will do. And it's the Millennium Falcon. Ain't that great? Remember that Millennium Falcon that people loved, and people adored, and people thought were fantastic, and they bought a shitload of toys? Some people's their favorite fucking vehicle of all time. Here's your character just saying it's a garbage piece of shit. That's great. Welcome back, folks. Your character's supposed to think this is a garbage piece of shit. Hey, it's their opinion. Gotta respect people's opinion, folks. Rey, Daisy Ridley, I just find her character boring. I know a lot of people could say Luke Skywalker is boring. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it just has that right charm to it. Maybe it's the fact that it didn't feel like he knew everything and could do everything. So he was a tad more relatable. This felt more like the goody two-shoes in class that kept raising their hand to answer every fucking question. So the whole class hated the bitch. I know it. My glorified teacher's pet. Here being, J.J. Abrams as the teacher. She just knew everything. She knew, okay, she could defend herself, but she knew how to fix everything. Okay, some characters, they know how to fix stuff, but she knows the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo. And she could get it started before Han Solo does, and then she could fix this, which Han Solo couldn't do. That even Han Solo invites her for a job. And then later on she gets caught. She could do a fucking Jedi mind trick just like that. And then she, while granted Kylo Ren was injured, to be fair, she'd do all this shit and beat up your main villain in a lightsaber battle in your first movie. Why am I supposed to think that Kylo Ren is going to be any force to be reckoned with, no pun intended, when, although injured, your lead character beat the fuck out of him in the first fucking movie? You really have to then do a lot of development to make him a formidable threat later on, and you don't. Instead, you do this fucking thing where they love each other, and yeah, this guy murdered billions of people, but, oh, he's sweet. Whatever the fuck they were doing. And then bring him back from the dead, because apparently Jedi can do that. You just bring people back from the dead. Well, the Sith can, and she's part Sith, so I guess maybe that explains it. I guess that's the explanation, I guess. But that's not this movie, that's other ones. Rey knows all. You know what's funny? When the trailers came out for this and you saw those scenes of the Millennium Falcon flying around, being chased, these epic action scenes. I wonder if a lot of people thought, I bet it's Han Solo in there. Is Luke in there too? Yeah, can you imagine it was Luke, Han, and Leia? Yeah. No, it was Rey and Finn. And Rey was controlling everything. It's like, oh, Rey is doing all that cool stuff with the Millennium Falcon, not Han Solo. We couldn't have Han Solo fly the Falcon and shoot shit and... Just like, oh, well, you know what? Harrison Ford wants to get killed in this movie because he wanted to die in Return of the Jedi. George Lucas said no. Harrison Ford got his wish. You know what would be not? You know what would be neat? How about Luke, Leia, and Han in the same movie, same frame? No, it's not what people wanted. That's not what you wanted, right? Since 1983, or whenever you first saw it, you didn't want Luke, Leia, and Han together. You didn't want that, right? You didn't want that. Nah, I know you didn't want that. Who the fuck would want that shit? Get that shit out of here. Okay, FedEx it the fuck out of here. You don't want that. Nah, you don't want that. Actually, everybody wanted it. That's what people wanted. You'd have all your member berries where the plot is almost the fucking same, but that's not what people wanted. People like the spectacle of Star Wars. They do. They like the music by John Williams, the special effects. You know what people also liked? The characters. Luke, Han, and Leia. They liked those characters. A lot of people wanted to see those characters continue. What will happen next? If you gotta have the new people, younger people come in, but also involved with the older people. But instead, Leia is just kind of standing around with a thumb up her ass. Luke is nowhere until the very end of the movie. Luke and Han never got a scene together, let alone Luke, Han, and Leia together. It's just very weird. I mean, you don't even see Luke's reaction to Han Solo's death in the second film, in The Last Jedi. It's just weird decisions that you think would be the most basic things that if you set up a plan to do this would be on the checklist. But apparently not. Apparently not. 40 minutes in, Han Solo and Chewbacca come in. Harrison Ford being grumpy like usual. They had this cargo where there's this weird, awful looking CGI octopus thing. Some space pirates come by. The CG octopus thing beats up a lot of them. Rey tells Han Solo how to work his own fucking ship. BB-8 has part of a map where Luke is at because he tried to find a Jedi temple. That was for nothing. When you get to this next film, that was for nothing. And sometimes I would see, there's points where Rey gets these visions. Like R2-D2, and looks like Luke Skywalker with a hand, touching R2-D2. I'm like, what was all that for? And then some of these other visions, what was that for? At the end of the day, now that we see all three films, what was that for? What was that for? Because they didn't have a plan. They set stuff up and they go, you figure it out. Then the next schmuck, who did The Last Jedi, said, fuck all that, I'll just do this. Then they're like, whoa, we don't want that. So then it was the guy who did Jurassic World Yeah, they Jurassic World. He was going to do it, but then he left, and then they got J.J. Abrams again, and then it's funny how you hear like J.J. Abrams really hated what Last Jedi did, and has to retcon that. Like Last Jedi was retconning shit from Force Awakens, and then Rise of Skywalker was trying to retcon shit Last Jedi did, but they're trying to fit from Force Awakens. It's such a clusterfuck. It is crazy how much of a clusterfuck it became. It is insane. That's probably the most interesting part of this. They go to this bar cantina, because why wouldn't they? Because it's Star Wars. Then they meet this little figure. I forget her damn name. She's the one who thinks Chewbacca is her boyfriend. I don't want to imagine what kind of sex that is. I'd just be like sex with a midget. I don't know. Maybe. Never tried it. Maybe I should. Be a better experience than watching this movie. Again. And there's a Death Star 10 times bigger, and they get to the Rebels, and let's say Poe comes in halfway through, and Rey gets taken, and they get Luke's lightsaber, and Finn fights a stormtrooper, and he's holding it, and it made it seem as if Finn would be a Jedi sometime. That's what it seemed like. No, apparently not, I guess. Because he's holding a lightsaber here, then he's holding a lightsaber at the end. No. He just... No. They get to the BB-8 to Leia. Leia and Han Solo have some moments together. Finn, Chewbacca, and Han Solo go to get Rey. They also help fuck up some stuff for the bigger Death Star. Because they do their trench run, like Star Wars: A New Hope. While your old man fights the villain and dies, just like Obi-Wan fights the villain and dies in Star Wars: A New Hope. While multiple people watch. Luke watches Obi-Wan get killed by Darth Vader. Rey watches Han Solo get killed by fucking... that. I'm like... I feel like I've seen this fucking movie before. Oh, I have. No fucking wonder. Big surprise. As I watch a fly go around the room, which I'm more interested in this fucking movie. Go fucking figure. But goddamn, man. Goddamn. And that was such a shit show with Han Solo. He goes up, he says these things. And I killed that fucking fly. Good, because I'm pissed. And I smacked out of the fucking hall like goddamn baseball bat. That's why I want to do this fucking movie. Just, ah! Hey, it's June, almost July. It's Texas. There's going to be a fly or two. That's how it goes. Without this fucking heat and humidity. Although, not as much as my fucking anger on this Disney Star Wars shit. But goddamn, you're just so... Harrison Ford got his wish, but Han Solo gets killed and dumped down the fucking trash. Because he's a deadbeat dad. That's what they turned him into. A deadbeat dad who wasn't there for his son, and his son became a mass murderer, genocidal killer. Like Vader. As if nothing was learned in the Star Wars trilogy. And that's what people wanted. They wanted Han Solo to be a loser, a deadbeat dad, an old fool that lost his fucking ship, a feeble man that, yes, he does shoot a couple stormtroopers, but he thinks he's in touch with his kid. He was wrong. He dies. For nothing. Such a shitty, stupid, awful way for that character to go out. Not even a blaze of glory type of thing. Not even like, I'm going to do this to save my friends, or I'm going to jam this Millennium Falcon up this thing's ass and I blow up, but then this whole fucking thing blows up. Nothing like that. Just the shittiest, dumbest way. That's just like a shitty version of when Obi-Wan dies in Star Wars A New Hope. Deadbeat dad piece of shit. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. So while this whole wannabe trench run, Chewbacca gets pissed and wounds Kylo Ren. Rey and Finn, you're in the woods, there's snow. Finn fights Kylo with a lightsaber. Now, so much of this, I'm thinking, Kylo Ren can do this, the Force push. We see him do it once. You say, well, he's getting weaker. Okay, he's getting weaker. But this is the guy that literally stopped a fucking blaster at the beginning of the film and left it there in the middle of the air for like 5 fucking minutes. You tell me none of this fight he could do this and push this off and push that off? You fucking kidding me, dude? You sure about that? I'm not sure about that. And he tries, but then Finn gets his ass kicked, gets hit in the back. Rey gets the lightsaber, defeats Kylo Ren. Poe does the trench run like Star Wars A New Hope. They blow up the thing. Our terrors get back. And Leia doesn't hug Chewbacca. She hugs the girl that she met for a day. Now, I would think at this point, Leia is probably dear friends with Chewbacca. Why would she not hug Chewbacca? And you leave them all alone? You hug Rey, who you known for a day. What do you say? Go hang by the bay you just bay. Tomorrow today. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, USA. I mean, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's terrible writing, terrible usage of characters. I don't really give a shit about a chunk of the action scenes because I don't care about the story. The lightsaber, I mean, Finn, potentially good character. What they do with him later on. He's good in this movie, but they fucked him up later. Rey is just boring. I find her a bland, boring character. Now, maybe potentially could be interesting. Hell, you say Luke Skywalker got more interesting as he went along. I don't think they did that for Rey, though. Poe. I mean, hell, he disappears for good chunks of time. I mean, the actor's not bad. Was it Oscar Isaac? But I mean, like I say, he disappears and then he reappears and then he's just flying this ship and that's all she wrote, folks. And then the end of the film, Rey gets to Luke and that's, you have the thing and you know what happens next. You know. Star Wars, The Full of Shit Awakens. I think that's what I called it. Star Wars, The Full of Shit Awakens. Because I thought this movie was full of shit. I know. Go figure. But I think this franchise is full of shit. I think J.J. Abrams is full of shit. I think Kathleen Kennedy's full of shit. I think Disney Star Wars is full of shit. And then afterward, The Last Jedi, the less said about that, the better. The Rise of Skywalker, the less said about that, the better. Rogue One, I find it tedious and boring and such a pointless plot. I don't care how did they get this for the Death Star? I don't give a fuck. They went, they stole it, they came back, they all died. The end. Wow, what a great story. Solo, a Star Wars movie. I don't care about I don't care about young Han Solo. Not many people did either because it flopped. The TV shows, I like The Mandalorian, season 1 and 2. I got them over there, the Steelbooks, the Blu-rays. I never saw season 3, so I can't say about season 3. But I like season 1, I like season 2. Are there flaws? Sure, but I like them. I think The Mandalorian, season 1 and 2 are the best things Star Wars has done since Return of the Jedi. I really, truly do believe that. Although Pedro Pascal is a fucking idiot. I wish someone else had played him, The Mandalorian. Granted, 90%, I mean, hell, 90% of the time it's just the suit and there's someone else in the suit. Just once in a while you hear his voice. But anyway. But yeah, The Mandalorian season 1, 2, I like. But yeah, fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. I don't know what else to say. We'll talk to you guys later. Talk to you guys later. Fuck this movie. Later.